Hello, and welcome to Let's H. It's another episode of Let's H. Check out my links in the blurb. It's got links to my Patreon, my comic work, even my official website. Stuff you can enjoy, stuff you can follow. Please subscribe and follow if you enjoy what I do. I'm very grateful for it. I'm trying to be more active in general, so support me if you enjoy what I do, and you'll get more of it. It's really the only way, and the best way, that I can tell that you really are enjoying what I'm doing. Presently, I am just getting over a serious upper respiratory infection, so unfortunately my voice is not as sweet as some may have thought it was otherwise, but I'm going to finish this by damn, because I'm not going to have this last episode of American Horror Story Hotel hanging over my head. This week, as with the last few weeks, we've got American Horror Story Hotel. So what's new this week? The answer to that is nothing at all. Start off with another stupid flashback that they're trying to link to Murder House, and see, the thing is, the flashbacks are fucking stupid anyway, but linking to a better series in the same show is a mistake. All you're going to be doing to the people that actually know what you're trying to do is going to be reminding them that there was once a time long ago when this show was actually watchable in an unironic sense. The first series of American Horror Story is probably the only series that you can watch throughout and enjoy as a decent series on its own. It's not great, but at least it's good enough to stand on its own as a respectable, or at least presentable, series. Trying to link Hotel to it just makes Hotel look all that much worse because it's so bad by comparison. It doesn't look better by reminding you that it's technically the same series, the same show. It just reminds you that like 5 years ago, there was a show called American Horror Story that came on, and it actually was promising because it wasn't a gigantic game of how bad will it be this week. We did at least have defining Liz as identifying as female. So that makes the pronoun game a lot easier. And that's good. That's a good thing. I can get behind that. What I can't get behind is the way that it's done. And I think it's because American Horror Story is so poorly written, it comes off as pandering. The reason why it basically comes off as pandering is because it hasn't reached this point to now. It hasn't even been important enough for the writers to give two shits about up until now. They basically redefine the character of Tristan to be someone completely different. Like, it's not even a case of, like Gaga, for example, being a completely different character in the different episodes, or Iris being a completely different character in the different episodes. No, this is like taking a character who not only doesn't fit it, but had absolutely no build-up to this, becoming a completely different person for the sole purpose of giving us basically a tragic love story that we don't buy because none of it was ever built up to this point. It's ludicrous. It's completely unbelievable. It's utterly implausible. And even though the character type that they're defining for him is believable since he's such a transparent, flat, poorly acted character, we saw this done better in Murder House, for example. You know, Constance's boyfriend, the boy Dahlia, who was pretty but not too bright. Tristan was basically that. To say that he was actually very clever and very sharp and all this stuff, he's always just been a dick. He'll always just be a dick. Sorry, but giving him some sort of pathos at the end, at the 11th hour, and trying to define him as really quite clever, actually, he's not fucking clever. And we're also hopping back and forth like, this whole episode seemed to be obsessed with, well, I'm not gay. Well, no, you're not gay. Well, I'm not gay. You know, it's like, give it a rest, please. It's not necessary. It's very uncomfortable because the writing is not good enough to tackle something this complicated and this multifaceted. It just ends up being embarrassing and making everybody look worse. And it's basically taking advantage of the people that are going to latch onto this because it's any representation. It's not good representation. It's not well-written representation, but it's still representation, which feels uncomfortably, in that case, like exploitation, which I don't like and I don't approve of. It's also uncomfortable because Liz, for all her good qualities, is still an accessory to the horrible things going on in the murder house, and is still enabling everybody, every evil person around her. Not to mention that later, she refers to Tristan as exquisitely damaged. Okay, that's really pandering and really insulting. Especially considering if someone has issues, if someone has like damage that they're taking with them, that's not really a very nice way to refer to someone like that. It makes me very uncomfortable that anybody would be like, yeah, I'm interested in someone and he's really the one and he's exquisitely damaged. Like that would be something you would say, whoa bitch, take a step back. I would feel really weird if I were around anybody that had told me that, something like that, about the person that they were interested in pursuing romantically. I would not feel comfortable endorsing that or enabling that. I would feel like I was an enabler if I were to tell them, oh yeah, you should go for it, follow your heart. All it really leads to is yet more rapey ass shit in this series. As if we didn't have enough rapey ass shit. That pisses me off. Asshole Doctor Wife just keeps being an asshole as usual. We have Gaga's stupid fucking undead baby, which we didn't need to see. Also, about this whole flashback thing. Okay, so we find out that her name in the 20s was Johnson. So, Countess Johnson? Okay, she is a big dick, but fair enough. We'll accept that. However, what we won't accept is, apparently she's claiming that her husband at the time did not know that she was pregnant. And yet she only has like 3 weeks to go. When she shows her baby bump, it is obviously a pregnancy stomach. It is not something that's just like, oh, well, I had a few too many cheeseburgers and I need to hit the gym. No, it's not that. Like, you would literally have to be fucking brain damaged to miss the fact this woman is pregnant. When you are overweight and when you are pregnant are not the same thing. Like, maybe if you're younger than 10 years old, you might be deluded enough to think that pregnant just looks fat. But that's not how it is. You do tend to gain weight during pregnancy, but pregnancy and obesity are not the same thing. So you cannot just expect us to believe that she was pulling one over her husband's eyes at the time, claiming that she was just put on some weight. It didn't show anywhere else on her body except for her stomach, which was obviously the bulbous pregnancy stomach. Please just stop. This is stupid. Like, this show is so fucking stupid. I am so at the end of my patience with American Horror Story Hotel. Ramona and Donovan return to kill the children, which is understandable. I agree. You should do that. That's what you should do, because it's gonna stop Gaga from being able to do what she does. Basically, I think. I mean, this hasn't really been established super duper well. This hasn't been something that's, really very clear. None of the story is really very clear, but I think they're on the right track. Donovan, however, has become gross, unfunny, and stupid, and he's completely wrong about ghosts. You know what? If you're gonna try and link it back to Murder House, at least get the fucking ghost lore right, because ghosts were really important in Murder House. He gets it completely fucking wrong. He tells these girls something completely fucking wrong. That the girls from the first episode, the foreign tourists, they're just not that interesting. They're boring. They're not that great characters. They're not funny. And Donovan actually looks worse by interacting with them and doesn't help them to look better either. Something else that is noteworthy, and it's amazing that Gaga has actually managed to make it this long. Like, the things that she does in this episode, the things that she continues to do to people. Basically, the only reason why they made Tristan his own character was to be a narrator voice. He isn't really a good character. He wasn't a character before now, but now he's suddenly a character that actually has a voice and a brain, because the narrator wanted to say something through him, like the writer wanted to say something through him, to point out the whole thing about Gaga just wanting to move on from all of her dalliances and that being the thing for her. Well, we kind of got that up to now. Like, if we missed that, we didn't need some asshole who had no personality before to spell it out for us. But something that doesn't seem to be realized by the writers is, that's just gonna make Tristan a ghost. That's just gonna make Tristan a ghost, and now Gaga can't kill him. She can't kill someone twice. You cannot kill a fucking ghost. But ghost can kill you. You would think that over the years that she spent in this hotel, she would have probably amassed a number of people that wanted to see her dead. It's remarkable that no one has managed to do it yet. Sally, I think, just kind of fucks off and doesn't give two shits about Iris or the Countess or anybody else. But Gaga's now created someone that has a very good reason to kill her. And she's got all of the things that matter to her in this hotel, including this stupid undead baby. But see, what also makes this even more ridiculous is that she apparently has not changed things around in any way whatsoever since Ramona was there. And they were really close. And like, Ramona hates her and wants to kill her now. She should know this. She should be aware of this. Like, Gaga should have changed things around. She should not still have this baby, who is supposedly just all important to her, in the same fucking room. For Ramona to just be like, yeah, I know where she is now. Bullshit! That's bullshit! Then there's so much but in this episode, just like the previous butastic one. I think they put in so much buts so that we would be distracted from the fact that the episode is so fucking awful. It's so poorly written, it's so poorly acted, it's just so poorly done altogether, but there's plenty of butts in it, and there's plenty of excessive violence in it too. And you know, I don't even mind violence that much as fantasy violence, but this was just superfluous. It was completely extraneous violence that didn't add anything to anything, and it actually came off as boring, which is the exact opposite of what violence should do. Violence should be exciting, but in a terrifying way. Violence, when you watch it on a television show, you should never look at it and say, yeah, that's pretty boring. Can we get through this, please? Can we just, kind of wind it up a little bit, step up the pace here, kill the dude. You can get it done. You can get this done. You can do this. I believe in you. An asshole doctor wife somehow thinks that she knows about ghosts, but she didn't know anything about them before, and also didn't know anything about the vampire virus before, obviously, because she created a huge monster, in every sense of the word. So now she suddenly thinks she knows things about ghosts? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That really makes a lot of sense, especially since the writing has done absolutely nothing to tell us this, show us this, or indicate in any way that this would be likely to have happened. Donovan got it wrong, and you would think he would know this, at least from just having been around there for a while. She's been around there like a day, okay? She doesn't know this shit. Why would she even know anything about ghosts, especially how they work in the American Horror Story world? Don't buy it. Doesn't happen. You need to build this up more, not just bring this in out of fucking nowhere, dudes, and expect for us to just buy it wholesale. Not gonna happen. We also have going back to the Commandment Killer and Camp Gay Detective, but nobody cares because it's stupid. It's irrelevant and stupid, and nobody gives a shit about it. It's a dumbass subplot that's not gonna have anything to do with anything that's relevant, and if it does, it'll be a miracle, and it'll be a stupid miracle. Even the police were like, yeah, we don't need you, except that they obviously do. Just like I said in one of the previous reviews, Camp Gay Detective is built up to be some sort of genius investigator like Will Graham off of Hannibal. He can identify when the killer has specifically struck and why, although this is not exactly rocket science and probably anybody outside of the second grade could figure this out. In the show's context, he is supposed to be a very important person to that case. But then he has a breakdown, which is comically stupid, mainly because the actor is not good. So it just looks ridiculous. We also have more nudity, more butts from him, which we didn't want to see. It just makes him look desperate, okay? It makes this dude look desperate to be sexy and relevant, when he's neither. He's not a good actor. He's not acting a good character. He's acting a bad character poorly, which makes him even less appealing than he would normally be, which is not very appealing. So it kind of fails on every possible level that it is possible to fail. The one mildly amusing comment was Liz's delivery of, looks like that breakdown is going well. I admit, I smiled a little bit because I thought that was kind of amusing. But really, the whole breakdown is just ridiculous. And of course he screams at the ghost girls to get out when they're already in the doorway. They're already leaving. They're already left, basically. And then Evan Peters' character just pops up for no reason. Like, why the fuck is he there? Why is he even there? Who cares? Why would he even be there? It's a ridiculous scene, and it's made worse by this narmy bad acting, and also a constant tight zoom to avoid showing anything, because while he's supposed to be naked, obviously they can't get away with showing anything on primetime TV. Which makes you kind of wonder why they even bothered to have him naked anyway. Like, have him put on something so that you don't have to constantly have constant tight zoom whipping around the room in a dizzying, annoying way that just shouts out, hey, we can't show this, but he's totally naked. Whatever. It's puerile. It's sophomoric. It doesn't work. It looks tacky, and it's poor direction. Absolutely poor direction. And when he goes home and picks up his daughter, whom apparently the script forgot about until this very moment, you know, his daughter is pissed off and has every right to be. Except, while she is one of the best actors in it, comparatively, and while she is the only character that really calls bullshit and has every reason to, she then is forced into completely unlikely bullshittery that doesn't work, doesn't make any sense, it's stupid. The whole thing's just dumb. We have reactions from people that would realistically not happen. They come from nowhere. They have no motivation. They have no reason for being. It's stupid. It's pointless. It's like the rest of this dumb show. Even the scene between Gaga and Liz, which is supposed to be emotionally affecting and moving and, like, probably make us angry and blah blah, it's blandly played out and falls completely flat. Like, Dennis O'Hare is great as Liz. Dennis O'Hare is always good in all of the series, but he's a supporting actor, and he cannot really carry this whole scene, and isn't supposed to. It's supposed to be a big Gaga scene. We're supposed to see more aspects of the Countess in this scene. We're supposed to be moved by the way that this scene plays out. But we're not, because she's a poor actress. She's embarrassing, and frankly the character is passé. We don't care about her. Even the asshole wife's baby drama is completely irrelevant, meaningless, flatly played out, poorly acted. Why do we give a shit about any of this? The thing is, we don't. This is poorly acted. This is poorly directed. This is poorly written. This is poorly photographed. This is, overall, an extremely poor series, which is a shame because American Horror Story, at the very least, was entertaining in previous series, entertaining at least enough to watch half, if not more, and not feel like I want to give this up completely. You would get to half and you would think, well, it's not the best thing ever, but I want to watch next week just to see, to see what happens. We have lost actresses like Frances Conroy and Jessica Lange, and we have even good actors in this, like Angela Bassett and Kathy Bates. They are good actresses, but they can only do so much with the shit that they're given in this series. And their direction has not been good. They've had to basically pull all this shit out of their asses to even give their characters anything. That is the sign of poor direction and terrible writing. I understand that someone like Jessica Lange is a 1 in a million actress. She's a genuine talent, very good at what she does, and she can make the most out of even a poorly written, flat role. That does not excuse this show's poorness. You would think that since they knew they were going to lose Jessica Lange last year, and not have her for this series, that they would think, we really need to step it up. We really need to make the writing good, solid. We need to cast some good, solid actors for this. But no, they just did the whole celebrity gimmick bullshit casting. Lady Gaga is not an actress. She can do some method acting, but a method actor needs a director that can actually point them in the right direction and say, this is what your character is, these are the circumstances, and this is how you need to play it. I'm not ragging on her because she's an amateur. I'm ragging on her because she should never have been cast in it, should never have agreed to do it, and frankly is doing an enormously poor, and frankly, most of the people around her aren't doing much better than she is. That's where it really hits home. No one in this, even though I know most of the cast are actually decent to good actors, none of them are doing really anything with it because there's only so much they can do. It's a poor series. It's bad. It's crap. Ryan Murphy should be ashamed for bringing this to television. It's a load of garbage. It's not even like trashy in the Dynasty way or the Falcon Crest way or Dallas or whatever, like those shows that we watched that were trashy and tawdry and just ridiculous, and you watch them just to see all this trashy garbage surrounded by rich finery. It isn't even that, and it's not nearly that respectable. It's contemptible garbage, and it should never have been greenlit. To say that they are actually doing another season of this, I can only hope that it will be the last one, because I cannot imagine anybody giving this series enough in terms of ratings to actually warrant them doing a 6th season. Hotel is the worst American Horror Story season that has ever existed. There have been problems with previous seasons, and some of them have been really bad, but they've never been this bad before. Every single one of them pales in comparison to the sheer incompetence and poorness that is Hotel. It is rubbish. And that is why this is going to be the final review for American Horror Story Hotel until and unless I actually find out some drastic improvement in the story. I will not be watching any further episodes because I gave it 6, and that's about half of an average season of American Horror Story. That's fair enough, and that's enough of a waste of my time, even fast-forwarding through the slow parts of some of the worst episodes. This show, as it stands, is unredeemable. Unless something amazing happens and by some miracle it turns into something watchable, I'm done with it. So what are your thoughts? I know it sounds funny to ask that after going on such a diatribe, but I really hate this show. I really hate Hotel. It is the worst. It is so awful. And I'm just not going to waste more weeks of my life, even just like not quite hours of my life, watching this garbage. I can't imagine anybody that has latched onto this as their favorite show, or even a show that they really will hold in their hearts as dear to them. This show can't get anybody through a rough period. It's not going to be something that you watch and you're like, yeah, that show really got me through, girl. No, it's not going to be something like that. If anything, this is a show that has caused, at least in me, more depression related to, I can't believe I wasted my time on this, and I can't believe this is actually on TV, where I'm struggling to have to get my stuff even seen. So there's a little bit of that sadness there, a little bit of that annoyance there, but overall, even judged on its own, it's a very extraordinarily poor series. And I'm done with it. So, next time I will have something else for you. It may be a little while before I have another episode, because I really need to recuperate from this illness, and even going as long as I have today has really tired out my throat. So I need to rest it. I need to make sure that I get the rest I need so that I can completely get over this illness and not have a relapse. But please subscribe if you like this. If you'd like to see more, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Follow my comics, follow me on Tumblr, follow me on Twitter. I'm always active on all of them. And I will see you here next time. See you later. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.